What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Before I get into this video, I remind you guys that if you are watching this video and not subscribed to Too Raw for TV, please subscribe to Too Raw for TV. If you haven't hit that bell yet to be notified of videos as soon as it drops on my channel, please make sure you hit that bell. And also, if you like or at least appreciate the content that I put on this channel, please hit the like button. These are things that will not only help my channel, but hopefully you'll subscribe to other channels in the LDBC, and that will help all of our channels fight the cursed YouTube algorithm, which suppresses smaller channels. Now, I guess maybe this is Kawhi City. The much anticipated matchup between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers was held last night, with the Clippers outlasting the Lakers by the final score of 112 to 102. Right now, I look at this game. Shout out to Ticket TV and shout out to Say Less for their videos on this matter. This is just bragging rights until the next game. All right, this is just bragging rights. Can't be really prisoners of the moment. Regular season matters, of course, in its totality because it warrants seeding, in its totality. But an individual game, it can have a psychological impact. But you would think at this level, with the professionals these guys are and the veterans most of these guys are, like Leonard and James and Davis, Lou Williams. Paul George didn't play last night. I think he's supposed to miss the first 10 games, but maybe that might be shortened down a little bit. We'll see. The way they're playing, maybe they won't miss him right now. But anyway, these games matter as far as talking points wise for fans. Maybe if it's a long stretch of games, psychologically it can get the players, but I don't know. I remember a season opener in 90, I think it was 98, the 97, 98 season. We lost to Boston. I'm talking about the Chicago Bulls. We lost to Boston of all teams. And they were probably the weakest or one of the weakest teams in the Eastern Conference at that time. And we lost to them. Matter of fact, the Bulls started off like shit that year. I think we were like 500 or something like that, or teetering around 500. I remember in 90-91, we lost our first 3 games of the season. So, if memory serves me correctly, it would have been 4 in a row if Jordan didn't hit that turnaround jumper at the buzzer against Utah. So anyway, basically what I'm saying is these games matter, but in the long run of things, they don't. But for right now, until they play again, the Clippers can talk shit. Kawhi Leonard had 30 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 10 of 19 overall from the field, 9 of 10 from the free throw line, just very efficient. Did have 6 turnovers, all right, but that didn't really play into matters too much in this game. Trying to look at some of these numbers. Lou Williams was big for the Clippers. Lou Williams is probably the greatest 6th man of all time, and I really, I'm real careful when I say certain things like that because I think about the great Frank Ramsey, who pretty much originated the role. I think of John Havlicek, who started his career as a 6th man and went on to become one of the great players. So I'll put it like this. I'll say Lou Williams is the greatest 6th man in the modern era because I don't want to disrespect those guys by saying that. But Lou Williams was remarkable. 8 of 14 shooting, 21 points coming off the bench. And oftentimes, Lou Williams plays starters minutes. So it's just, he's very comfortable in that role coming off the bench. Just looking at different people. Patrick Beverley didn't shoot the ball very well, but he did have 10 rebounds, 6 assists. And one thing that was notable about the Clippers in this game, it was two things. Their defense, which helped to hold Anthony Davis off, especially in the second half. Davis started off hot, but kind of faltered a little bit down the stretch or slowed down the stretch. He scored 25 points, had 10 rebounds and 5 assists, 2 blocks, but only shot 8 of 21 from the floor. And LeBron James shot only 7 of 19 from the floor, only 1 of 5 from three-point range. Only got to the foul line 4 times. He did have 9 rebounds and 8 assists, but he turned the ball over 5 times, had 18 points, and had a plus minus of -8, which is something you rarely see with LeBron James. Um, I saw ESPN talk about with LeBron James. Is he rusty or is it age? And it's funny because it could be both, right? I mean, it could literally be both. Of course, it's age. LeBron James is in his 17th season. LeBron James is obviously on the downside of his NBA career. Anybody that keeps arguing that he's not, you're really kind of ignorant of biology. I mean, he's 34 years old. He's only 2 months away from turning 35 years old, which kind of, when you think about it, you would think he's a little older than that. But he came in the NBA when he was 18 years old. But he has a lot of mileage on him now, a lot of mileage. And one of the things I always tell people about, when you want to look at a guy, offensive player, and you want to see like if he's starting to age a little bit, is look at the amount of games. If he's an efficient guy and always been an efficient player, look at the amount of games that he starts having where he shoots badly. Now, in this game, LeBron James is this is the initial phase of LeBron James' career where he's going to be more of a facilitator rather than the go-to guy. Um, Shannon Sharp did say something I agree with, and I've been kind of really at odds with that dude lately, but he did say something that I agree with. An older player, as things, as you begin to slow down, as you begin to lose that step, as you begin to lose some of the physical advantages that you've had throughout your career, it is important if you're going to be offensively minded that night. It's important to get your rhythm early. I remember a lot of great offensive players, they started having huge first halves and first quarters. It was kind of important for them to have those type of games to get into their rhythm. And if they don't do that, oftentimes they get out of sorts offensively. Um, I'm interested to watch LeBron James this season to see if last year was indeed an aberration as far as his inconsistency and his complete fade out defensively. If he's not exerting as much energy on the offense, I want to see if he can play better defense. Um, you know, I don't know. I just want to see where he is in his career. I want to see because my estimation is I think LeBron James is probably going to further decline a little bit more so this year than even what we saw last year. I think a lot of people they, well, they I went through this with Jordan. Kobe fans went with this with Kobe. You see this guy play at such a high level for so long that you can't imagine him being human out there. And LeBron fans are going to have to realize that LeBron James is indeed human, and I think he's going to have more human moments than LeBron James moments now. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? LeBron James has a great team around him. I think these two teams are going to be the best two teams in the NBA. If not the NBA, the Western Conference. The Rockets. I'm just. I don't know, man. I just don't trust James Harden. I don't trust James Harden. I think it's in him to be, just a selfish basketball player at this stage. I think he's more or less concerned. People think Kobe Bryant might have been bad in his prime as far as like, maybe wanting to shoot the ball all the time. James Harden says, hold my beer. I think this guy, James Harden, is obsessed with his numbers. I might be wrong. I might be wrong on that, but I don't know. And then Russell, I'm starting to think that Russell truly is on the downside of his career as well. I'm starting to think he's going to become injury prone, and you know, I don't know. The Houston thing could work out, or it could completely blow up in everybody's faces. You know, we'll see. And I know it's not going to work in the long run because Mike D'Antoni's an awful coach. That doesn't get brought up enough. Um, but he's a horrible coach, man. He's a great offensive coach, but he's not really a coach. You know, and D'Antoni ball never works in the playoffs. It's never worked before, and it's not going to work now. The best chance D'Antoni had to win a title was 2 years ago, and they blew it. So fuck them. But with the Lakers and the Clippers, the key to me was the bench, and the Clippers bench outscored the Lakers bench 60-41. Excuse me, 60-19. So they outscored them by 41 points, and collectively, you know, uh, the Lakers just were inefficient. Now, from 3 point range, they were very good. They shot 39% from 3 point range. The Clippers weren't too shabby themselves at 36%. But overall, the Clippers efficiency is what pretty much won the ball game for them. They shot 52% from the floor as a team, while the Lakers shot under 44%. Most of the other stats were pretty even. Rebounding was even. That's how you can tell the NBA's changed so much because 20 years ago, these games were won in the trenches as far as like rebounding and rebounding and the center position was just a lot more prevalent back then. Fast break points were a big part of this too. 22-5 points in the paint were pretty even. Um, that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much all I got to say about this particular ball game. It's just one game. Danny Green balled his ass off. 28 points, 7 to 9 from 3 point range. Um, Saylas brought up a good point in his video. Dwight Howard didn't play well. Pope sucks. He brought up a good point about Jared Dudley. Um, if you're going to play Jared Dudley 13 minutes, right? Jared Dudley is, I put it like this. Jared Dudley to me would be an okay guy if he was like the 10th, 11th, or 12th guy. But if you could have a guy like Carmelo Anthony come off the bench and get you 10 to 15 points coming off the bench, that's an awesome weapon to have. Now, I don't know exactly why Carmelo Anthony has been whiteballed by the NBA. Some of it has to do with, in my opinion, possibly his reputation. I think he has a reputation for being a guy possibly with a prima donna attitude. Some people feel like he's a guy that doesn't care about winning and all that type of stuff. I don't know. But there's been a lot of NBA players with bad reps who have gotten opportunities. So I don't understand why Carmelo Anthony has been treated the way he's been treated. But the Lakers also miss Rondo. And Say Less made another good point about the fact that Rondo seems to be injury plagued the last couple of years. Um, I think at this point that's a growing trend. That's something that's going to happen with him. He's pretty banged up. His probably a lot of it had to do with his earlier play style. You know, but in the end, the Clippers beat the Lakers at home, despite the fact that technically they were at home, but you had Laker fans booing and taking over the Clippers home game and booing Kawhi and all that stuff. And right now, you just got to say it, man. Kevin Durant's injured. So right now, I've said this last year. Kawhi Leonard is the best basketball player in the world. And even though this is just one game, this is further evidence that LeBron James probably no longer is the best player in the world. He's still the most renowned and still the most recognized and most famous active player, but no longer is he the best basketball player. And it's okay because he's in his 17th season. All right. There was a time when Kareem was the best player in the world, but by a certain, by a certain stage of his career, that was no longer the case. Bird was the best player in basketball during the mid '80s, but after injuries, Bird probably wasn't even a top. I would say by 91, 92, would you even say that Bird was a top 15 player, 20 player in the league at that time? Well, at least top 15. I gotta think about that one. Maybe he still was top 15, but he definitely wasn't a top 5 or so player, 10 player. But anyway, the point is, we got a lot of basketball to go, and don't take too much into this one game. But I know that the Clipper fans ain't trying to hear that shit. Tell me what you got.